Welcome back, ladies and DeGents, to the Distinguished DeGents podcast. You're one of many homes of degenerate gambling. I'm the host. I am one half of the Distinguished DeGents. My name is Steve Big Bucks Abeta. Joining me, as always, it's my co-host, my partner in gambling, the genius, the one and only Jason Money Mansman, who is looking a little bit flat today, a little bit sore. I don't know if it's because of the Caser contest. I don't know if it's this upcoming wild card weekend. He's also getting over some illnesses, but Money Mansman, how was your week 18? We can discuss the Caser if you want.
Yeah, congratulations on the Caser. I mean, very unfortunate because sometimes it boils down to one bad week, and I had a bad week 17, and that was pretty much it. So that's
Although
unfortunate.
we decided to be good sports at least and try to end the season like going heads up enough just to make it interesting. But
yeah, and I think we ended up pretty much getting about even in last week anyway, strangely enough.
Yeah, we both ended up with 9.
Yeah, so all those differences, we ended up with the same amount anyway. But no, congratulations on that. Yeah, the illnesses at the Mansman household are I'm still lingering, and my poor mother just got diagnosed with the flu. So she is dying. Yeah, it is not pretty.
Oh.
So that has been that was week 18, but in other news, in good news, congratulations, the Buffalo Bills have an all-pro running back.
The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout, throw your head back and shout.
That's right. We have an all-pro running back, first team, best in his position. Congratulations, Ray Davis. That's our all-pro. Not James Cook. Not James Cook, the leading rusher in football. No, he gets beat out by Bijan Robinson, who's going to be sitting at home again, picking daisies.
If you're going to lose out, Bijan Robinson, I feel like is somewhat acceptable. But Ray Davis,
that's your guy, Buffalo. That's our guy. First team All-Pro, kick returner, Ray Davis. Remember the name.
We don't. At the news. James Cook made All-Pro as well.
Second team. The Bills get I'll tell you, the Bills get no fucking. The Falcons had 4 All-Pros. They weren't even 500. I mean, this is a joke. Your boy Garrett Holds Bowles, first team. That's got to be exciting.
Zach Allen, second team All-Pro honors. Menirez and Bowles, I think both got first. I'm trying to look it up now. Yeah, right guard Quinn Menirez, Garrett Bowles, Zach Allen, and special teamer Devin Key. I didn't even know who the fuck he was. All first team All-Pros. Look at that. And Pat Surtain and Talanoa Hufanga, second team All-Pros. Pat Surtain is a second team All-Pro as well. I mean,
that's name recognition. That's a name.
James
Cook, the rushing champ. Second team All-Pro. What a joke. At least we got Ray Davis, though.
Are you gonna get a Ray Davis jersey now?
When we lose this week, remember, Ray Davis will probably fumble a kickoff now. Watch, it's gonna happen.
Oh, Jesus. We do have to talk about your Bills, unfortunately, today. You did declare their season over, God knows how many weeks ago, but Bobby, you made the playoffs. I know you didn't win the division this year. It's a bit heartbreaking, but look, you're still a 12-win team. You still have Josh Allen. You're still the Bills. Is the season truly over?
It's gonna be officially this week, I think.
Well, we also have to talk about Black Monday because now we have a little bit of time. We only have 6 games to talk about today. Black Monday, I believe it was 6 head coaches fired on
Yeah.
Black Monday with the breaking news that the latest John Harbaugh of the Baltimore Ravens finally fired after I think it was 18 seasons, losing out in week 18, missed
Yeah.
field goal with the drama in the locker room too that was coming out. So I kind of wanted to ask, we have 6 head coaches, which I guess that one to me was the most shocking, but which one did you feel like needed the most attention or is going to be the offseason story?
I mean, I think it's sadly not going to be very surprising. It's clearly Harbaugh just because twofold. Number one, uh, you know, the Ravens have been a model of success really for the past 15, 18 years with Harbaugh. He won a Super Bowl, and it's weird because it's just on the Sharp podcast I listened to, they made a good point. They were like, it's so weird how with really the Steelers and the Ravens, the momentum towards the loser getting fired kind of just built up over the last few weeks, where it was just sort of like you never would have expected it. If anything, it was kind of like Bills fans talking about McDermott going, where there's a bunch of grumbling and, oh, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. They're never going to do it. And then all of a sudden, with like in the last 4 weeks, it was kind of like each week was, loser of this game's probably getting fired. Loser of this game's probably getting fired. And it was still shocking. And I think it's going to be a big change because some team, maybe it'll be the Giants, maybe it'll be another team, are going to get a Super Bowl winning head coach who, will probably turn the franchise around. So I think that was the most surprising. And I would expect that Harbaugh might be the first shoe to drop, so to speak, in the sense that I don't know how many other jobs are going to get filled while Harbaugh's still out there. And then it seems like maybe Stefanski's the number 2 for a lot of teams.
Which I don't know why Stefanski is going. First of all, I don't know why Cleveland does anything anymore, but Cleveland firing Stefanski, I think it was clearly the wrong move. I mean, you gave the guy a third string quarterback that he had never wanted. And I think that was just the precipice of him being let go. I mean, remember last year? He made the playoffs with Joe Flacco.
Yeah. Well, that's the weird thing. Like, I don't know what the Browns, are they going to build around? Like, do they see something in Shador? I thought he was, I'll be nice, a backup quarterback. I won't say third string. I'll say he performed at the level of a backup.
I'll say he performed as a third string. He did what a third string job is supposed to do, which is when the backup's not good enough, you do and show us what you got. But was it enough to really do anything? No. The guy he pretty much lost every damn game, except for that one odd game against the Steelers. And I think he won his debut, which I want to say was against the Raiders.
Bengals week 18.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So he had some wins, but he wasn't good. Let's be honest, they were winning because of their defense. They were not winning because of anything the quarterback was doing.
And I'll say something else I think that's shocking. Like, we've seen the coaching carousel. What's shocking more to me, Aaron Glenn so far is still the Jets head coach next season. After what was arguably like the worst Jets season in a very long time. Which is saying something because the Jets have not had a good season in a very long time.
The first team since the 1930s to not have an interception all year. They had one of the worst Decembers in the history of football. Well, lost every game by 23 plus points.
That is the Jets cycle. You start the season off, you think you're hot, but they're actually not good. They start losing. They'll heat back up a little bit in October, make it competitive. November, people start getting hurt. You go on the road, you start losing. Then by December, they quit. And that's exactly what we saw this year. It was the same old Jets. That was shocking. I think another shocking, but not really talked about as much. Todd Bowles is being retained as the Bucks head coach after like another disappointing 8-9 season, and this time they didn't win the division. So I thought that was a bit strange. Thinking about like how Tampa is going absolutely nowhere, they're stagnant. Baker Mayfield probably coming off what I think would be one of his better seasons, done absolutely nothing, and the Bucks are just going nowhere fast. And I think for a team of that talent, with a team like Atlanta, where I think they're a quarterback away still, I think Carolina is starting to heat up as a team. They just need a couple key pieces, and then I think they're good, but they have their head coach now. And that's something you have to consider if, you're someone like the Bucks. But I don't know why you would keep a subpar 500 coach after 4 years when you really have gone nowhere fast.
I have a couple surprises for you. Number one, talk about a dysfunctional franchise. The Miami Dolphins.
Oh, yeah.
Mike McDaniel seemed like he was a dead man walking for since week 3 of the season. And then Black Monday came and went, and Mike McDaniel still had a job, and he talked about that he was going to be a part of the head coach or the GM search. And then he got canned. That was weird. That was just not that he got canned. He should have, but that was a weird sequence. And then the other one, and then you could sort of maybe react to both. Washington, they don't tell any of their players they're getting rid of Cliff Kingsbury, and then they promote
God, that was
David Blow to offensive coordinator.
David Blow was a New York Jets quarterback at one point. Am I not mistaken?
There's on New York radio, Don LaGreca, there's one of those drops of him. Are you familiar with the work of David Blow? So yeah, he was a Jets quarterback at one time.
Was a Jets quarterback. I think what was shocking the most was all the player reactions. Because first of all, the news came out. Cliff Kingsbury wasn't fired. They said he was stepping down, which I thought was strange. I was like, what? Like, of all the seasons, you had a great first year. Second year was just, let's be honest, you're riddled with injuries left and right. Yeah. You don't have Terry McLaurin, your number one wide receiver, for half the season. You don't have your number one quarterback for most of the season. I'd say 75%.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the actual number, but like for a majority of the season, like I think you just rope it in. You do your best with Mariota. They did everything. It just seems so strange that he, of all people, was told he was stepping down. Then it later comes out he's fired. You're replacing him with the equivalent of Josh McCown, but D3 college. Because Josh McCown has been in the NFL for so many years. He's been in so many systems. I could understand a guy like him getting a coordinator position someday because he's just so involved in the game and has been for many years. I think you make the same argument with a guy like, a Ryan Fitzpatrick being an analyst. I feel like that's the goal nowadays. You're either an analyst or you're going to become a coach. But David Blow, I would not say is deserving of getting a coordinator job this fast. Because it's like, what did he do in the NFL?
Yeah.
As LaGreca said, are you familiar with his work?
Especially, too, for a massive year for Jaden Daniels, too. Now, the thinking is that Blow is sort of a guy on the rise that people may be looking, and they wanted to, like, keep him in the organization. But, I mean, that's a big year 3 for Jaden Daniels. Year 1, great, rookie of the year. Year 2, literally nonstop injuries. Year 3, big year 3 for Jaden Daniels to show that he's can be healthy and be a productive quarterback. And he's going to be doing it with, first time offensive coordinator David Blow. Very, very weird
This gives me the vibes of when Zach Orr was announced as the DC for the Ravens. It was one of two things. It was either like, this is going to be a disaster because this is just too much too soon, or this is like one of those internal hires where you're just like, this guy's been in the organization before, he knows the culture, and we just have blind faith in him. And oddly enough, going back to the Harbaugh firing, like evidently the rumor I heard with that was that the Ravens management and higher ups wanted to fire the OC. Wasn't even Zach Orr. They wanted to fire Todd Monken.
Mhm.
And Harbaugh basically put his foot down and said, no, I'm not. If you fire him, you're letting me go too. And sure enough, the Ravens management did that.
And Lamar supposedly did not like Todd Monken.
No.
Although I have to say, you know my feelings on Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, the most overrated player in football by a country mile. We're a worst two-time MVP ever. I mean, he is so overrated. He is terrible. Most overrated player in football. He's not elite. He's not a top 10 quarterback. I actually can't wait because the Ravens, with bad coaching, Lamar might get exposed as a total fraud.
I think it's going to come down to like, and again, like I think we've talked about this before with other teams. Caleb was like the most recent prime example. You're putting that kind of guy with a coach that is not built for that system and is just years behind. Before that, I made the same argument about Bryce Young with Frank Reich. Like Bryce Young right now as a quarterback, right now he's in the playoffs. I'm not saying he's great, but he's had up and down games. He's trending in the right direction.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it.
Lamar, on the other hand, just like with Harbaugh at first, he had that MVP season in 2019, ended up being a one and done team. You then get another MVP Lamar season, ends in heartbreak. And that's actually been the definition of the Ravens. It's just like every time they get close, it ends in heartbreak. There's just one play, and they just can't seem to get over that hump. And you can make the argument, most of it is Lamar. I mean, Mark Andrews drops a ball perfectly in his hands. Missed field goal after you drive it down the field to get within range. And I think, what was it? 1 year you were out, so it was Tyler Huntley, so that's not even Lamar. You have another year where I think it was Tyler Boyd, 2017. Like, or that was before Lamar, but just at the end, my point being is that it's hard to really finger point and point the blame. There's only been a couple consistencies though that head coaches won. And that's why
I'm not going to blame Lamar for the Pittsburgh loss. I mean, the guy missed the field goal. I just, I mean, again, sometimes you wonder in a year why did it need to come down to that game? And that's because Baby hurt his hamstring and didn't play for like 7 weeks, and whatever. I don't care about teams that aren't in the playoff.
Yeah, I'll end it with this. A wise man once said about one of his old football coaches, if your game comes down to a missed field goal, a missed catch, missed tackle, you didn't do enough that whole game. You didn't do enough that whole season if it ends it. You should have done more earlier. And I feel like that's going to be the hurdle for Lamar and the Ravens. Enough's enough. You fired the coach. Whoever comes in, your job is to get over this hurdle. Your job is to not be in this position where no matter what seed you get in the regular season, when it comes playoff time, when the time comes where it's a must win, you fail and fail and fail time and time again.
Yeah. And the Ravens aren't going to have an easy second place schedule next year because they're going to have the Bills, they're going to have the Chargers, they're going to have the Texans. So it's not going to be a cakewalk second place schedule by any means.
Not at all. But Mansman, enough about the enough about the regular season. Enough about future off-season drama. We're now here to talk about the NFL Wild Card Weekend. 6 wonderful games all weekend long, including Monday night, the very last one of the year. Mansman, your thoughts, habits, trends. What are you hearing going into this weekend? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I always like this week because I feel like this week is where the nice stories get separated from the legit contenders. I say it every year. To me, any team that wins a playoff game has a chance to do something. I mean, they're not necessarily guaranteed to win a Super Bowl, but remember Washington. They had that run where, made it to the NFC Championship. I think if you win a playoff game, you have a chance to, you're a legitimate team, no matter what. Even if you lose the next week, you win a playoff game, you're a legitimate team. And I think this week kind of separates the teams that are they had a good year and they're happy to be there from the legit, okay, we won a playoff game. We're serious about, potentially competing for some hardware. And I think there's a couple teams in the playoffs this go around where I'm kind of interested because I don't know what type of teams they are. I'm not sure if they're legit contenders or if they're, one of those fraud, happy to be there teams that's going to get exposed this week. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good week.
Yeah, we got 2 games that they're essentially at pick'ems. Shop around with those games as we show those out with the odds. Yeah, I don't know if there's so many teams that are just this year where they're just happy to be there. Like last year, we thought it was like half the wild card that was just going to be happy to be there, get blown out. Washington made that run and it was wild. Meanwhile, you had Denver who barely squeaked in week 18. They were happy to be there. They went to Buffalo and they got 1 touchdown and then that was that. And then I'm trying to think, there was like one other, not a rookie, but there was one other starting quarterback, and I think he ended up getting decimated as well. But it's strange because this slate of games, I've never been more torn on half of these. And I just feel like going into this wild card weekend, I usually have an idea of who's going to move forward. This week, it really, really does feel like anybody could move up. And even those teams that, as you say, they're happy to be there. They're contenders, great season. But I feel like at this point, most of these trends, if not all the previous trends, just go out the window. It's one game, and it's who do you have, and it's what's the conditions, and that's that. Like, what does this game tell you? So I'm very intrigued to see how this pans out. I feel like this is going to be one of the more unpredictable seasons, or one of the more unpredictable playoffs that we've had in a long time. Especially now, no Kansas City. Philadelphia is still in the picture, but they don't look the same. And I think we have this week I think there's 2 or 3 quarterback debuts.
Yeah. Oh, well, we know about those stats.
3. We have 3 quarterback debuts going into wild card weekend, and we'll talk about those stats. But
no, I think you bring up a really good point because it almost feels like the new kids against the old guard. Like you look at the AFC, you have Pittsburgh, I guess to some extent, but not really. Baltimore, no, Pittsburgh, Buffalo. I don't even know if you can really put anyone else. Like you have the Steelers and Bills who have been in the playoffs. The Bills in particular are the sort of only real perennial team, it feels like, in the AFC playoff picture.
You can make a case, the Chargers, but they're a gatekeeper. They're
Yeah.
not necessarily like a playoff running team. They're just a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
It's basically like, do you want a chance at playoffs? Do you want even a chance? This is a team you have to beat.
Yeah. And then obviously in the AFC, you have the Broncos, Patriots, and Jags, who have all sort of, they're the new kids. Now, Denver did make the playoffs last year, but the top 3 seeds are all, I mean, what would the odds have been for those 3 teams to win the division at the start of the year? 200 to 1. You look at the
350.
NFC. The NFC is a little bit more even because you have the Rams, the Niners, the Eagles. Maybe you could throw the Packers in there if you want to. Kind of the teams that have been there, done that for a while. Well,
Seahawks too, to an extent.
Seahawks were 500 last year. They were not the number 1 seed in the NFC.
That's true.
Seahawks, Bears.
The Bears really are the new kids. The Panthers and the Bears, I feel like, are the new kids on the block, and then it's just everybody else that you would expect.
Okay, you're giving the Seahawks a lot of credit. So,
well, I mean, over time and historically speaking, like I don't expect them normally at number 1. The Seahawks, I feel like, are the NFC's version of the Chargers. The only difference is that the Seahawks have massively stepped up this year with Sam Darnold over having Geno.
Yeah.
But the Seahawks, for a time, I feel like we're the same thing. Like, they're a 500 team. Do you want a chance at playoffs? You have to beat the Seahawks. If you can't beat the Seahawks, you probably aren't going to go far.
I have to say, you know how crazy it will be if the Seahawks win the Super Bowl? You know how many stats you're going to see? That draft, no Super Bowls for Josh Allen, no Super Bowls for Lamar Jackson, only Super Bowl winner, Sam Darnold.
And not even with the Jets. Imagine Jets radio if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl.
Oh, my God. Primetime's going to come out of the woodwork. I knew we should have kept Sam. No, I like Sam, though. That's tough because he was never a bad kid. Even with the Jets, I didn't despise him. So
right. He was just
good luck
ghosts.
to him. But yeah, he's saw ghosts.
All right, my man. Are we ready to go through these games?
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's get going.
All right. Hopefully you can carry us through this time. Kicking it off Saturday, we are 2 hours out from the first game of Wild Card Weekend. It is the LA Rams going to Carolina to take on the Rams are going to take on the Panthers. Panthers are at home. If you'll notice, this is pretty much the exact same slide I made from week 13. Rams are still 10-point favorites. It's still minus 575 to 425. Home underdogs for the Panthers. 45 is the total now on Bet365. You now got the hook. It is 45.5. It is not Saturday 1 o'clock. It's actually Saturday 4:30. So that is my bad. Money Man's, I'm going to let you kick this one off. First of all, before we even get going, are you giving out any best bets this week, or are we just going straight picks? Because I have about 4 best bets I could give out, but I might dwindle it down to 3.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay. So this to me feels more like a tease play on the Rams. But I like the Rams in this spot, and I almost think it was worse that the Panthers beat them in the regular season because now the Rams are going to be prepared for that. If the Panthers had played them close and lost, I might actually like the Panthers at plus 10. But if you look at 2 things, number one, I think the Rams are the better team. Statistically, at least, the Sharps love them, all their advanced metrics and stuff. But number 2, my issue with the Panthers is when you look at the last 2 games of the year, important games, Bryce Young disappeared, non-existent, horrible. Carolina disappeared, horrible, non-existent. I don't like a new team, first time in the playoffs in forever, coming in off the back of 2 straight, terrible games. I have a feeling the Rams might win this one pretty bad, just because I could see Bryce Young having another god-awful performance. Maybe he throws 3 picks. And this game being like a 28-6 snooze fest where, the Rams just, they kind of do what the Rams do. They don't really look tremendous. They just sort of control the game. And every time the Panthers get on the field, they either throw an interception or it's like a 3 and out. That's how I see this game going. I could see a lot of people wanting to pick Carolina here, or maybe a lot of sharp people who remember that previous game thinking, oh, well, Carolina beat this team already. They could keep it within, a touchdown. They could keep it close. I just don't have a good feeling about this game for the Panthers. They're the playoff team I like the least coming in, because they're coming in with the absolute worst record in terms of, they didn't come in 8-9 and they're playing their best football. They're coming in 8-9, stumbled and bumbled, and thankfully Atlanta beat New Orleans for them to make the playoffs. So that's my handicap for this one.
Gotcha. As you mentioned, they literally played about a month ago. Rams did lose on the road in Carolina, so one of the first things I go to and ask, what's changed since this moment? As you mentioned, the Carolina Panthers stumbling and bumbling into the playoffs. Since that win in week 13, they went on the bye. Off the bye, they lost to the Saints, barely beat the Bucks, lost to the Seattle, lost to Tampa, week 18, big game on a Saturday, lost as an underdog. Now they're somehow hosting the LA Rams. So they literally lost 3 of their last 4 going into this. Not a trend you really want to back. But the points. Let's look at the points. Since 2024, Saturday favorites have gone 9-6 ATS, but they're 12-3 straight up. So the Rams, statistically speaking, more than, I would say the money line percentage is about right for them to win. But let's look at the number. It's gone up as high as 11.5, and I think now we're down to a flat 10. So what are we looking at here? Well, it's a playoff game. It's Bryce Young and Dave Canales as a head coach and quarterback debut. And if you go all the way back to 2002, this is the stat. Quarterbacks making their first NFL playoff start against a quarterback with playoff experience, they're 20, 39, and 1 ATS. That's 33%. So that's another point in favor of the Rams. But what about double-digit favorites in wild card games? They are 12-1 straight up and 10-3 ATS in this spot. Rams also, they're getting back Devontae Adams, which I think is a big upgrade for them, especially in the red zone. But otherwise, I think everything you've said just kind of it paints the picture. Panthers, I don't even know if it's that they're happy to be there, but I feel like they shouldn't be there. Everyone, I think, what was it? Was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. Why is Cincinnati not in the playoffs? The Denver Broncos are such a worse team. Cincinnati beat them. They should. I'm kind of on the fence where I'm like, these fucking tiebreakers. I would have rather seen Atlanta or Tampa in this spot. Atlanta would have at least been interesting because they literally just played on Monday night, even more recently, and this could have been another game where we get game 2. I probably would have loved to seen that more than this Carolina game. But at the flat 10, I am all over this Rams team here. Really just think the spot's going to be good. I have under 45.5 points in this game, especially with the hook. And I actually really love the Panthers team total under. Plus 100 right now on DK, under 16.5.
I endorse that bet a lot. I think if there's a unit I want to fade in this game, it's Carolina's offense. Now, I will say the Rams defense hasn't always been great in the regular season, and they weren't very good in that previous game against the Panthers. But it is the playoffs. I do think you're going to see a different level from the Rams now. Although I will say, one warning: I'm not as high or bullish on the Rams as some of the sharps. They took a lot of money, and everyone wanted to talk about how great their advanced statistics were and how they were really the best team in football in the second half of the year. And I really didn't see it. They took a lot of money, and you lost a lot of money betting on the Rams. So I'm not.
This to me just feels like a Martin. This feels like a martingale type of bet. And for those who don't know, so I'll do my best to explain the martingale method. Mansman, correct me if I'm wrong. Basically, you take now you can use this at poke, I guess, blackjack or roulette.
Roulette is the one where it's like the most traditionally used, but
yeah. But I do this sometimes with sports betting. So let's say I take a unit and I bet it on the Rams. I took a unit on the Rams to beat the Panthers. Well, they lost to the Panthers and I lost that bet. Well, what am I going to do the next week? Well, I'll just go to the same team, go to the spread, and I'll drop 2 units on it. And basically the idea is that, it's a double or nothing mentality, essentially, is what it comes down to. You basically double your bet until it hits. And then once it hits, you reduce the bet by half. That's the roulette strategy. In terms of sports betting, I say double the bet until you make it back and then lay off of it. So this, to me, feel like with the Sharps, especially looking at that Rams, the way the Rams ended the season, I mean, dear God, against the NFC South, you have to wonder what the hell they were doing. They lost to the Falcons on Monday Night Football. Thursday Night Football the week before, 37-38, that crazy overtime game. Week 15, a back and forth against Detroit, although I think that one was already out of hand. And you basically just beat the shit out of the Cardinals, lost to the Panthers. Against the Bucks, I mean, Baker got hurt, so I don't even talk that game. And it was early with the Saints where I don't even think it was David Blow, or not Blow. Was it Tyler Shuck in that Rams game, his debut?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the Rams have just gotten off super easy towards the end. They should have swept it, but there have just been moments of struggle. And it's like on the road against these NFC South teams, they lost both times. One of which was in prime time. So you kind of have to wonder, like, I'm not insanely bullish on it. Like, my position is that you're getting the flat 10 now. Maybe by kickoff, if more sharp money comes in on Carolina and drives this number down to like 9.5, maybe I'll hit it then. But the books have been pretty stagnant on not going below double digits. So, yeah, I mean, and again, just the spot, like, I do think the Rams will dominate. And I have this as an under game. I have this like 30-6, 33-3. I don't know if I would make the bet, but Bryce Young, the Panthers offense to not score a touchdown seems like a fun prop to throw in there if you want to get a little cute.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with everything you're saying. I think we're kind of on the same page with this game. This almost feels like there's always one. This feels like you're one for a wild card weekend, the one throwaway game where it's like,
yeah,
that's what this feels like. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but this feels like the throwaway game, like the one that is not like the other ones. In a slate that seems like it's going to be pretty good football, this feels like the snoozer.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. But after that game, I think we're gonna have a real interesting time with this one. We're going into the NFC North. It is the Chicago Bears Saturday night hosting the Green Bay Packers. God, did I not? I did not update this either. I am fucking slacking. Okay, I will reread the stats. Bears are 1.5 point home underdogs, plus 110. Packers minus 1.5, minus 130 on the money line. 45.5 is also the total here. Money Mansman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. God, am I? I think I'm going to do this. I'm thinking about it. I think I'm going to do it, but I'm probably going to get shit from you.
Okay.
Killer whale, orca.
Give me my best bet of the week. The Green Bay Packers -1.5. First of all, this is a prime example of what I want a wild card playoff game to be. I want two good-ish division teams going up against each other a third time to see who's the real deal. And especially in a spot like this, are the Bears actual contenders? Or do they just get lucky a few times? Is Caleb really the franchise quarterback? Do they have their coach? Or are the Packers still the gatekeeper? That's what this game really feels like to me. The couple thoughts I have with this, why this is my best bet. Bears are coming off of a horrible loss to the Detroit Lions. They started and played everybody on that team. That defense gave up 400 total yards of offense to the Detroit Lions field for 35 minutes in that game. The Packers, on the other hand, benched everybody for week 18. And from what I'm hearing and what I'm reading, this Packers team is fully healthy. They are coming back ready to go, fully rested. Injuries are pretty much minimal. And they're coming in with purpose, especially after they lost that overtime game the last time. Point number 2, I mentioned it with the Carolina Panthers. Rookie head coach, year 2 quarterback, debuting in the playoffs at the same time. You're going up against Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love, who I thought the numbers were actually better before I looked it up. But both of those guys, they have enough playoff experience where I think they're going to know what to do. And number 3, I'm just always looking to fade the Chicago Bears in the biggest moments. And I think fading them in the playoffs, this just feels like a spot. We're getting 1.5 points. The last 2 games were also 1.5 points, and it was split. Like, it was 1-1. Green Bay, I think, won at home, and Chicago won at home. But both times, it felt like both teams barely won. This is what scares me. The Bears are only 1-3 in the playoffs since 2010. But the Packers as a road favorite has not been good. And maybe these are regular season stats, but since 2023, Jordan Love's only 3-9 ATS as a road favorite. And as a division road team, he's lost 4 of his last 5 outright. And that one win, he did not cover. And I think it was 6 points. And Jordan Love only has 3 games under his belt. The only team he managed to beat was the Dallas Cowboys in his debut in Jerry World, which was a dome. Now we're going to Chicago, where I haven't really done a weather report there yet, but I mean, they were just there recently. I can't imagine it's going to be great, but it's looking like we're going to get some late precipitation tonight, but pretty much in the 30s, so nothing.
Normal Chicago, nothing crazy.
Yeah, 7-9. We're getting 30-degree precipitation. Could be snow, wet, cold, but I think that's the Packers' cup of tea. Like, I'm not concerned about the weather with either team, truthfully. If I'm more concerned about that with one or the other, I'm more concerned about it with Caleb Williams. But this is just pretty much the gatekeeper versus the young buck. I'm still not sold on this Bears team. I'm not sold that they are as good as their record reflects. But I could be wrong. I think that the Packers are just being extremely undervalued in this spot when, again, I'm looking at the last few. Feels like the Bears may have peaked a little too early because week 13, they beat the Eagles. They go to Green Bay and lose. Then they beat Cleveland. They host Green Bay again, barely win in overtime. Sunday night, you lose to the 49ers on a last-second play. Must win week 18 game to get the 2 seed. You start everybody, you lose. just feels like a real bad spot here for a team that's going to come in really healthy and probably pissed off at that loss, about like what I said. So best bet, Green Bay.
So I have to say, my initial inclination when I first looked at this and saw where the line was dog of the week, Chicago Bears. But I've started to come around to your side because, like we talked about, first time head coach, first playoff appearance. I'm not as optimistic. I'm a little concerned about Green Bay. Just, okay, is Jordan Love really healthy? Is he 100%? Or is he, 75% back? Is he going to be out if he takes, a couple big hits in this game? But in thinking about it, like, you look at that Green Bay game, and I just looked at it now, and I'm talking about the one in Chicago, week 16.
And that ended in overtime. Caleb threw the long bomb. And
yeah. Green Bay was 95% to win that game with like 2.5 minutes left. Like it was an epic collapse for Green Bay to find a way to lose that game. And if Green Bay had won that game, if there wasn't a miraculous comeback and they had beaten Chicago the first time, the narrative would be that the Packers own the Bears can't win, and the line would be, 3.5, 4.5. So you might actually, and I hate it, I really don't want to bet Green Bay. I think you might actually be getting Green Bay at a little bit of a discount here. Because I think if you look at the two games they played before and actually just like how those games went, this line should probably be Bears or Packers minus 3.5. Instead, it's Bears, +1.
Bears +1, +1.5. It's damn near a pick 'em, but the money seems like late, like following DK, money's coming in on Green Bay now.
So I'm not ecstatic about Green Bay. I think that this team I've called them the Bills of the NFC. I think Green Bay is the most overrated team in the NFC. They were before, they were a favorite. Everybody loved Green Bay. I don't think Green Bay is that good, but I do have a weird feeling that they're probably the right side in this game.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
there's also never been a 7 seed that's won week 1.
That's not true.
Who
One
did it?
time. Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess. I said it earlier.
Huh.
It was Jordan Love. He beat the Dallas Cowboys as a 7 seed.
Were they a 7? Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that. Okay.
So
they've done it before. They have history.
And I want to say last year it was a similar predicament. Green Bay was in Philly as a 7 seed. Now that I could be wrong on. Maybe they were the 6, but I legitimately cannot remember who the 7 seed was last year. And I want to say it was Green Bay, but yeah, no, Jordan Love's done this before. He's been in this spot, and he's also in a spot he's very familiar with Chicago. Now, do I like Green Bay to move past the divisional round? Not necessarily. But I think in this spot, this team, a team that Green Bay and Matt LaFleur has dominated for 7 out of 9 quarters, I would say, and you're getting it at a pick, I'm taking Green Bay. Primarily because of the discount. Now, I will say, too, like, again, you have the rookie quarterback dilemma. I love the under in this game, too, especially with that weather coming in. But, again, I've seen this before. I've always said weather games, it's probably going to be shit. And 44.5 seems a bit low. But I think you have to wonder. I mean, do you think Caleb is going to be able to operate the offense the way he wants to? Is he going to be able to run the ball?
I mean,
And with
that's the thing. They're going to have to run the ball, and I mean, I think the Packers could stop it. I'm trying to see the game the Bears won. What did they run? They had 400 yards of offense. Caleb Williams had 250, but a lot of that was late in the game.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
They did run for 150 the last time. They ran for $150.
Yeah. Oh, and that was the game Jordan Love got hurt too. So we had Malik Willis come in.
Yeah.
I think that was a big thing too. That I think a lot of people forget. And
Yeah,
Malik
I mean,
Willis
this should be a good game, honestly. This should be a good game. Well, the Bears ran for 138 in the game they lost too. So I don't know. This is going to be a close game. I think this may be the toughest one on the card, honestly.
Yeah, and I have a couple long shot plays here in terms of props. First one I'll give out: Jordan Love to throw for 2 touchdowns. I think in all his games against the Bears, he's done this all but once. And I think it was that Week 16 game where he did get hurt.
Yeah, I like that. That makes sense.
That was plus 100. I also like Caleb Williams interception prop, also plus 100. Rookie prime time, or not rookie, but prime time debut playoff game. We've seen this before with the likes of Kyler. We saw it with Bo Nix. We saw this with even Sam Darnold in his debut game later in his career last year. They tend to show up. They tend to be pumpkins in this game. They tend to make a lot of those mistakes that you would not expect from earlier in the season. So love the interception prop for Caleb. Love Jordan Love 2 touchdowns. Another long shot, and this is an interesting lay. I'm going to put a half unit on Rome Odunze anytime touchdown at, I think it's +1. It's either plus 170 or it may even be up to 2-1 right now. The one thing about the Chicago Bears that I also think is interesting for this matchup, Rome Odunze is up to 235 now, by the way. Rome Odunze was not in either matchup this year against the Green Bay Packers. So he was out for this matchup. He will now be playing. And you know that's going to be one of Caleb's favorite targets, especially on the deep ball, where DraftKings is doing a King of the End Zone promotion. And I think Rome Odunze would be a very interesting play. But I also think he could get the targets.
It's funny. I don't know if you could bet it. You know what? I have a feeling's going to happen in this game. DJ Moore touchdown pass. Because Ben Johnson's going to call up some tricky plays. You remember Detroit, what they did in games like this. It would not surprise me if they have like a wide receiver pass or some low gadget play. If I could bet like 200-1 on DJ Moore throwing a touchdown pass, I would.
I don't know if they have that or not, but I want to see if they have like a. I want to see if they have like a prop for like the whole wild card where it's like, because I saw offensive lineman touchdown, I saw safety, I saw a team to get shut out, but I didn't really see anything regarding wide receiver throwing a touchdown. Although I do have a couple props I think you could be interested in. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything there, so I'm ready to move on. We'll go to the Sunday games.
Yeah, let's move on.
All right.
The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout, throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's the Buffalo Bills going on the road, wild card weekend, Sunday, 1 o'clock. They're traveling to Everbank Stadium, Jacksonville Jaguars. are currently a 1-point home favorite. Pick them at -110. Bills +1, 51.5 is the total. It is the highest total of the week. Mansman, you have a CBS 1 o'clock start. It is your team. I do give you the honors. He declared the Bill season over. Will he follow himself through, or is he going to change his mind?
It's so funny too, because I feel like if the Bills were to somehow win this game, I could see them going to the Super Bowl. Like, I feel like this is the game because I think we could go to Denver and win. I like our chances in New England. There's one place I didn't like our chances, and that's here in Jacksonville.
Houston. You didn't like Houston either.
Yeah, but I think Houston will be gone because I don't think Houston's going to go to New England and beat New England. I don't think Houston's going to go to Denver and beat Denver. Although obviously that wouldn't be a thing. We'd go to Denver before they would. I don't think they would win next week. I don't think they'll beat New England. But anyway, anywho. I think the Bills season ends tomorrow. Jacksonville's won 8 straight. They've won 3 of the last 4 against Buffalo. Buffalo just struggles against this team. Josh Hines Allen's the real Josh Allen. Bills struggle against him. I mean, I remember that game in Jacksonville. He had two forced fumbles, an interception. Jacksonville just seems to have our number. The Bills on the road in the playoffs. 0-5. Josh Allen, not good. And, I mean, Jacksonville's been on a roll. Every time I've sort of gotten excited about this Bills team, and every time I say, you know what? Now's the time. They're going to step up. They're going to raise their game. Here's where they're going to improve and show us something. They've been a letdown every time. And I'm not going to get let down again. I just think this team is not. What do we talk about? What is this week? The real contenders and the pretenders. And I just think this year, this Buffalo Bills team is, they're just not good enough. I don't think they're good enough. I think we're going to struggle to stop Jacksonville. And I think the Jags are going to get a win at home. I don't know. Help me out, buddy. I feel like there's a lot of fandom in this handicap. It's just I just could see us playing like shit. Josh Allen literally 362 yards with like 3 interceptions, and the defense crumbles and we lose like 41-32 again. We have no kicker again, so I'm sure there'll be some missed field goals.
I thought Matt Prater was going to be playing and healthy.
They don't know. It's
oh fuck. Oh, that's not good. Okay. I'm going to talk a lot, but bear with me on this one.
No, go ahead.
I promise I have points. There is one thing I think will make or break this game for either team. The answer is defense. For the Jags, can they force turnovers against Josh Allen in this game? Statistically, all year, they've been really good at intercepting the ball. They've got 22 on the year. They're second in the league. Mr. Former MVP, JA17, has thrown the ball 10 times to his opponent. But since November, hasn't thrown a pick at all. And this Jags defense, I think they're going to have to rely on their bread and butter this year, which was they've consistently been able to stop the run. Looking at the last 5 running backs they've gone up against, Tony Pollard got held to 48. JT got held for 70 in a tutty. RJ Harvey got held to 50 rushing yards. The Jets, Isaiah Davis, 58 rushing yards and a tutty. Before that was JT again, Jonathan Taylor, 74 rushing yards and a tutty. And in that same game, Riley Leonard ran one in. So that got me thinking, like, the rushing yards relatively low, and that's all I've heard all year. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think the Jags have not given up an 80-yard rusher all year in this league.
Sounds about right.
Either 80 or 75. But I noticed just in those last 5 running backs, that's a lot of touchdowns, including a quarterback. So, like, what do the numbers say? They're first in rushing yards allowed. They've allowed the least all year, which I think is really good and concerning for Buffalo, but they are 15th in rushing touchdowns given up. And in the air, they're a lot worse than I thought they were. They've given up over 3,700 passing yards to opposing teams, putting them at 21st. And they've given up 25 passing touchdowns. So they're middle of the pack at about 14th there. And now you're going up against not the Colts, who were dead. Not the Colts of earlier in the year, the dead Colts. You went up against Tennessee twice. Denver was the one game I didn't see coming, but when Denver can't establish the run, we've seen before, they crumble. And that was that game. They did beat the Chargers. They're also a playoff team. They actually beat the shit out of them.
Remember, though, Herbert was hurt that game.
Yep. And then they beat the Raiders. They lost to the Texans. And by the way, the Chargers and the Broncos, they haven't won a playoff game since Trevor Lawrence came into the NFL. And they beat Arizona. And I mentioned the Jets earlier. So, like, my thing was, like, coming into this playoffs, the Jags have not really... They've had 2 decent wins, but like you said, one of them was an injured quarterback. The Broncos win, admittedly, we both said, that was the most impressive win they've had all year. Beat the shit out of Denver's defense, who was top 5 in the league. So what about the Bills' defense? Because I said defense is going to make or break this game. The Bills, we know their rush defense has been horrendous, and they do look like a one-and-done team. I'm not fading Josh Allen in the wild card, though. I can't get there in this spot. He's won. I know they're all at home. I know he's winless on the road in the playoffs, but to me, I think that's like a Kansas City stat. And the one road game was to Deshaun Watson in Houston. And I think it was either the year before COVID or was the COVID season. I don't remember, but like that's so far removed that I'm excluding it. I just think the Jags were very fortunate to end the season the way they did against some really weak teams. And I think the Bills could easily step up in this matchup. They have the number 1 rushing offense, number 1 All-Pro, Ray Davis, but, also number 2 All-Pro, leading rusher, James Cook or whoever he is, allegedly. That's the kind of news article. I wonder if James Cook says, okay, watch this, and puts up damn near 200 on the ground against this Jags team.
I hope so.
And real quick, just to keep it moving, I think the Jag story this year has been really good. I do think they have their head coach now. I like Liam Cohen. And against McDermott, I'm not saying McDermott is amazing. I'm not saying he can't get outcoached in this spot. Liam Cohen, historically, as a coordinator and coach, he's never won a playoff game. I think that matters. Like, to me, this is like another rookie head coach situation. You have McDermott, who's been here before, and even without the kicker, I've seen that with McDermott before, and I know they can get through it. I just think experience matters here. I will say this could be close. The difference is I know ETN can be contained. The Bills' defense, especially in the air, they could force Trevor to make mistakes. And I think this is where I get confused. The Bills front four, like they don't really blitz with a big package. They usually just use the four. And I know Trevor has had trouble with that O-line being blitzed. And I really do think the Bills could step up here. The question is, can they contain Travis Etienne in the rush? Can they keep Trevor Lawrence in the pocket? Because I feel like if Trevor breaks free, he'll run for 80 yards on you guys and he'll run 2 in on his own. And that's what concerns me. But if you want a coward's way out, Jags first half at minus half a point is plus 100.
Yeah, I think that's the bet. Bills are the worst first half team in football. They're the best second half team in football. So I would expect if there's going to be some movement, it's going to be movement late. No, I mean, I think there's just so many questions about I've had so many questions about the Bills really all year. And I don't know if this team could go on the road and win. I don't know. This one's tough just because I don't know what Bills team you're going to get. I think Jacksonville, you kind of have an idea of what their offense is going to look like, what their defense is going to be able to do. But honestly, if Josh Allen's on his A game, like you said, their pass defense isn't great to begin with. And I know in the lead ups to the game previews that I've been watching and like seeing, one of the things they talked about was the last 8 games, Jacksonville got very lucky. They played basically like no quarterbacks for the last 8 weeks. And Josh Allen's going to be the best quarterback they're going to be facing defensively, like in a long
time. I mean, the running backs too. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, not from lack of trying, but like that was at the time, that was the Colts offense because they had Riley Leonard and the ghost of Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my thinking. Like, this is the best offense this defense is going to be going up against in a long time. And by the way, to give you a comparison, like offensively, remember the Rams-Jags game from way earlier in the season? Rams beat the shit out of this Jags team. Rams basically drove it down their throat, got to the red zone, and they just said, "Where's Devontae?" And they threw it to him. And he got it every time.
Yeah. Well, the problem is we don't have a Devontae.
You don't, but but you do have a Dawson Knox. You have Josh.
Yeah.
I think I was interested in the touchdown props here. And you're laughing. You're gonna laugh at this, but I gave this out to a buddy of ours who wanted a huge list. I gave this to him as like a long shot chance.
Okay.
Dawson Knox plus 290 anytime touchdown. Ray Davis just shot in the dark. If you had to guess what his touchdown prop would be,
900,000 somewhere around there.
6-1.
Oh, okay. They're giving him a little bit. Well, yeah, I guess he's getting the ball a little bit more. 6-1. So Dawson Knox, Ray Day. Wow, that would be. Oof.
So that's my long shot. I don't really have too many other props for this game because there is one. I did lie. I have one prop. This is my over-under pick of the week, and I'm going under 51.5. Basically, if my handicap is going to be right, I think the Bills are going to contain the Jags. They're the worst first half team, like you mentioned, so I don't expect too much scoring. I think this is going to be a big second half game. I really love second half, maybe second half over, first half under. Maybe get a little non-correlation there. But 51.5, what concerns me too, and I didn't even mention this, the last time these two teams played, the Bills beat the shit out of the Jags. Now, mind you, it was Doug Peterson, but wasn't it like 41-10 or something ridiculous like that the last time these two teams played?
I think the last time was in London, and I don't know if the scoring was very high. I think this is going to be a dead over because it's the playoffs, and especially too if the Bills get down, they're going to just keep chucking the football. Like Josh will just keep throwing. He doesn't care. I mean,
It was 47-10 at Highmark the last time these two teams played. No, I just have a feeling that Trevor's going to struggle. The Bills will do what the Bills do. But I think, don't get me wrong, I think this will be close. I could see this being 21-28, 21-30. Like, it ends right at the 51. But, and especially, too, if there's no kicker, they're going to go for 2 each time.
Yeah, that's fair.
Especially if the Bills get up big early. Like, if they get up 3 scores and it's like 17-0 somehow, they'll just start going for 2 and just saying, fuck it. Like, or going for it on 4th.
Oh, well, the Bills do that all the time, too.
I think it'll be even worse this game. I think they'll get them. But who's the ref crew for this game? I think that's important for the Bills.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm gonna see if they have the.
Let's see here. According to MSN, Brad Allen, who called the Carolina-Tampa game Week 18.
Oh my God, are you fucking serious? Oh, come on.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, well.
He's called 77 on the home team, 76 on the road. The home team wins 66% of the time.
Okay, so told you the season was ending.
Yeah, not good, but you never know.
Never know.
But yeah, under the week, 51.5.
Let's move on.
Good luck to the Bills. Maybe we'll have a memorial next week.
Maybe.
To Jason's liver. And also to the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles, Sunday, 4:25, Lincoln Financial, hosting the San Francisco 49ers, who are coming off of the loss to Seattle at home. They're now catching 6, plus 220 on the road, minus 270 for the Eagles. 44.5 is the total here. Number jumped from 4.5, 4 to 6. I think that was with the injury news of the Niners. Mansman, any elaborations there you know of? Because I didn't really keep track of that news, but I'm assuming it's because of Trent Williams.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm gathering. I don't remember, though. I'm going to try and see if he's scheduled to, like, actually... Is he out? Because I heard that he was... I heard that he, like, popped up and was hurt, but I don't know if he's, like, out.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the injury report now. I know one of their receivers is out. Ricky Pearsall, I think, is not playing. I think he's out.
Oh, well, that's... He's been out half the games this year.
Yeah. Trent Williams is questionable.
Yeah.
Practice. Kittle's in. Okay, it looks like they're mostly either questionable or they're in. I think Ricky Pearsall's the one out.
Maybe. I don't know. This is another... I mean, these games are all tough. I don't like the Eagles at 6 anymore, but if you're playing money line, it's tough to bet against the Eagles at home. They're really good at home. They're a great home team. Even though this iteration of the Eagles are not what they were previously. I mean, I think number-wise alone, I think the injuries are driving the line way too much. Even if Trent Williams doesn't play or Ricky Pearsall doesn't play, I still don't think this is a 6-point line. I could see the Eagles winning this game by 4, by 5, by 3, something like that. I think I'd take the Niners with the point. NFC West has been the best division in football, really, all year. They have 3 teams in the playoffs with over 10 wins. And I don't know. I mean, I guess you just have to ask yourself. I know the Eagles are good at home. I know that the Eagles always seem to have these weird where it's like they're all fighting with each other, and then the playoffs come and they get it together. I just don't know, like, are they going to be able to do this again? Like, is this going to be another year where they stumble through the regular season, they look like shit, and then they just turn it on at the last minute? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I think with the number, I think I got to play San Francisco here.
I'm on the opposite side. I'm taking
Oh,
Philly.
okay. I could see it, though. I could see it.
6.5 was my number. I don't like how the Niners ended their season. I don't like Brock Purdy on the road. And I think especially tomorrow in Philly, I think there could be some rain coming in as well. So I'm trying to check that now because last I heard we were supposed to get like another like nor'easter type situation. Looks like precipitation will be gone, so I think we'll be okay on that end. But this again, I'm not betting against Jalen Hurts at home in the playoffs. And just to throw those numbers out, 5-0 straight up, 4-1 ATS at home in the playoffs. Niners are also on the road as an underdog, where the Niners are 1-5 ATS going back to 2024 as road underdogs. And I think that was like I am missing the stat, but wasn't there a stat about the Niners as underdogs and like how bad they really were? Or no, it was the Niners off a win, is what it was. The Niners off a win, they could never cover off a win. And we saw that last week in Seattle. They could not cover. Now they're coming off a loss, and I looked at the trends. It's not really anything to write home about. It's only about trying to think. I think it's like 3-5 ATS. It's nothing really, or 8-6, so 57%, but hit and miss. West Coast team going to East Coast in the elements. Their only weapons really, like Philadelphia, I feel like we'll be able to handle it. Yeah, I don't. San Fran to me just seems like they're just not good enough this year to rein the division in. You know, the past few years, it was pretty much all Niners or nothing. But the Seattle Seahawks have stepped up just with Sam Darnold. The Rams this year, just by getting a Devontae and building around Kyron, they've stepped up and are getting younger. And I know the quarterback is going to be an issue later, but the Rams have always been competitive. Seahawks are now stepping up. The Niners are just slowly turning into like this gatekeeper type team. And they're just always injured. Their gadget Shanahan West Coast style offense just doesn't seem to always fare well against the Eagles when they're fully healthy.
Yeah.
And
the defensive metrics for San Fran shows a worse defense than maybe what they're giving up on the scoreboard. The defense hasn't been all that good.
Yeah. I mean, and I want to say like they're going to get extra rest. And that like normally you would think that does them well, but I think San Fran is like one of those teams that doesn't do well in this spot. Yeah, 9-10-1 ATS since 2021 with rest advantage. So really doesn't help them either way. No, I think this is the spot. We've seen Jalen Hurts like sleepwalk into the playoffs and then just he'll start making the throws. He'll start running with his feet. He'll make the play. Like that's what he does every year. He always just seems to wake up in this spot. And even with the sleepy spot, I think it was against Green Bay last year. They won 22-10. So, you know, if it's not Jalen, I think it could be the defense, you know, that kicks it into high gear. And honestly, like between the two defenses, Eagles get the triumph there. With the offenses even, I kind of grade Eagles slightly higher than San Francisco right now. And, you know, with Brock Purdy coming off his worst game of the year, you do have to wonder. But they held Sam Darnold to 13 in a game they should have won, and they did nothing. And I just feel like between the two, like it's tough on paper, but I think realistically, this is an Eagle smash spot for me. I don't see a path the Eagles are a one and done losing at home playoff team. Against the Niners team too, by the way, that they have a rivalry with. Remember how the Niners used to say, like, oh, well, if our quarterback didn't get hurt in the playoffs, we would have beat your all's asses. And Philly was like, really? Like,
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
fucked. Like, no.
Yeah.
You're a
Yeah.
bunch of crybabies. This is the spot. Hey, guess what? Now you have your chance 2 years later. Come in and try and beat us now. Like, this game could get chippy.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. You're right about that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have. I don't know what to make of this Eagles team. Then that's the toughest thing because the Eagles, God, the Eagles, and no matter how bad they look, they always seem to turn it on. And I think the game being at home really does help them. I do agree with you. I do agree with you there. So
Yeah, and not to mention too, like, I'd have to pull this up real quick. This is a Sunday 4 o'clock game for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. This isn't going to be a primetime slate, which I think will matter this time around. Where I think it was last year, Jalen Hurts in primetime was autoplay essentially.
yeah,
This year, they lost on Monday night to the Chargers on the road. They lost to the Giants on the road. This year at home in primetime, they did beat Dallas week 1.
Well,
They
it's
beat Detroit
4:20.
at home.
It's Sunday 4:25. I don't know if that's prime time. It's not an 8 o'clock game.
Oh no, but my point is, like, they've been so hit and miss that I think with it being an afternoon slate, no real change. They get to stay home. You know,
Okay.
after resting too. That's another key thing. San Fran has a rest advantage by a day, but they started everybody. Philly benched their starters for this game.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. True.
All right. Prime
We'll see.
time, Sunday night football. LA Chargers, as the 7 seed, are traveling to the New England Patriots in Foxborough, who are 3.5-point home favorites, minus 190 on the money line for the Patriots, plus 160 for the Chargers. Coach Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. 45.5, once again, is the total here. Believe it's my go.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to your handicap on this one.
I don't know what soundbite would be appropriate, but I'm going with this.
He can't keep getting away with it.
This is going to be my fade of the week. I said I was going to do it, and I'm going to stick to my guns. I am fading the New England Patriots.
Oh, wow.
At home. And I'm going to take the Chargers with the points. Here's why. I have an inkling that the New England Patriots are just going to be in for a long night with this game. Remember a couple weeks ago against the Ravens at M&T Sunday night where they were losing?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other Coach Harbaugh forgot he had a running back, and Drake May was able to come back and win.
Mm-hmm.
I think this Coach Harbaugh not only has one running back, he has 2 running backs he can use. He has a dual threat system there. He also has a quarterback who can run with his legs, who has extra rest, because they benched their starters on week 18, except for Keenan Allen, so he could get his incentives. But he'll be playing as well.
Mm-hmm.
New England, I think they did play their starters, but they played the Dolphins, and that was
For like the first half, I think. Half.
It's not like a first half situation. But once again, it's a Drake May playoff debut game. Now, the stat I gave out earlier is that quarterbacks are 33% in this spot when they go up against a quarterback with experience. Drake May has had the Harbaugh experience against the Chargers before. Last year, he got decimated at home, 40-7. That was without Coach Mike Vrabel as head coach, though. And New England are only 2-2 ATS against Justin Herbert. At home, 0-2 straight up in ATS. But just remember, Justin Herbert has not ever won a playoff game. Justin Herbert is a road underdog. I don't think those numbers fared well for him. I don't think I have it with me, but let me see if I can find it. LA Chargers since 2022 are, let's see here, 6-6 ATS as road underdogs. Not quite good. And I guess we do have a Chargers primetime game. So Sunday Night Football, historically, I do want to say this is the one spot that like they've done well in, but they're pretty much like hit and miss. They've had a lot of home Sunday Night Football games. They've lost their last 3 road Sunday Night Football games. One against the Raiders, one against the Niners, and then against the Chiefs last year. On the road overall, Chargers on Sunday Night Football, they're 4-7 historically. So it's one of my weird picks where I'm picking Chargers to cover, but Patriots to win. Because the 7 seed rarely does ever make it out of the wild card round to begin with. Vrabel, you can't discount him. And I think, to be honest, I kind of feel like we're getting a slight discount on the Patriots at home here. But this, to me, already felt like a really close game to begin with. This felt like it could be very much a back and forth type of, where, like, I don't know who will win outright. Like, I'm about 50% on the Chargers having a chance to win. But I think Patriots covering 3.5 and this spot, the way they kind of ended a season against a tough team with the Ravens, I don't know. Like, I've seen, for whatever reason, it seems like with Drake May, he either has blowout wins against shit teams or they're so close for comfort and they don't cover. And you go back and kind of wonder why and what happened. But I think that if any dog could expose a big favorite team, this feels like it. This feels like Harbaugh as the 7 could come in and expose Vrabel and Drake May and design a scheme that just gives him trouble all night. It just, I can't count out Vrabel at home. But if there was going to be an upset, I think this is it. So, fade of the week.
So I'm going to keep this brief. You know, the idea of sort of betting Drake May first playoff game, team that unexpectedly went from 0 to hero. Sometimes those teams struggle in the playoffs. You know, reality comes and they struggle. But the only thing worse than betting on them, betting on a team that their quarterback still has not won a playoff game.
That's the problem.
And I remember being on the Chargers last year in a very similar spot, going to Houston, and Chargers got blown out, doors blown off by a Houston team that was not good. This Houston team that we're going to talk about in a minute is actually better than the one last year. So with that, New England's the bet here. New England's going to win this game.
I like New England money line. I don't know if I like the 3.5.
You can't trust Herbert. I mean, you can't trust the guy. He hasn't won in the playoffs ever. And they're going on the road as a 7 seed into New England, where it's probably going to be 30 degrees. Sorry, I don't trust Herbert in that. I like Harbaugh as a coach. I like their running backs, like their defense, but I can't trust them in this spot. And I think Vrabel and May are going to get the win because I just think they're the better team. And, you know, like I said, I've seen Herbert lose in the playoffs a lot. I've lost a lot of money with Herbert in the playoffs. Not this time. Not this time.
Yeah, this may be an avoid game. Maybe I tease the Chargers up to 9.5. that could be a play. If Bills are still +1, I might tease them to 7.
Yeah. Hope it doesn't get ugly. I mean, I don't know. I have no faith in Herbsy. Never won a playoff game.
I don't have faith in him that he'll win. I just think they'll be close. And that's kind of what I'm literally playing for that cover with that Chargers. But no, I hear you. I mean, you're right. Like Justin Herbert in the big moments had a big lead against Jacksonville. They blew that game up. I mean, that was Brandon Staley though. But again, we went through this last year where it was like, oh well, it's Harbaugh. Things are different. No, turns out things weren't different. And yeah, you're right. I remember that. I think Lad McConkey even had like a 200-yard game. Still got blown out. Still had the brakes beaten off of him.
Yeah, that one hurt.
Yeah, no, someone like you, I wouldn't bet the Chargers, but I think if I had to pick a side, I'm gonna get the hook. I'm gonna take it. But
good luck.
Wise man did say lay the 3.5, not take the 3.5.
That's true. True.
All right. Monday Night Football. Pittsburgh Steelers, Acrisure Stadium. They are 3-point home underdogs, +135. They are hosting the Houston Texans, who are -160. Over-under is 38. Pittsburgh coming off the Sunday Night Football thriller against Baltimore, where they missed the field goal to make it to the playoffs and win the AFC North. Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh Steelers playoff debut. First playoff game since leaving Green Bay. Mansman, we know what Mike Tomlin does in the wild card.
Yep.
We know how he is.
Yep. Want me to go?
I think you should go.
We know what Tomlin does in the wild card. We've seen this story 100 times. It was fun while it lasted, Rodgers. Best bet, Houston Texans -3. This one's just so predictable. I mean, we've seen it so many times, buddy. And, even X's and O's. This Pittsburgh offense against this Houston defense is just going to do nothing. I mean, this Houston defense is playoff built, playoff ready. I think Houston's going to win this one easily. I think this is Pittsburgh is happy to be in the playoffs. They were lucky to have skated by last week. And this is the last game for Rodgers. You could make the case this might be the last game for Tomlin, although I doubt that. Maybe it should be. But we've seen it 100 times. They go, they get a winning record, they sneak into the playoffs, and week one of the playoffs, they're out. We've seen it before. We're going to see it again. There's not really much X's and O's in this game. Houston's got the better defense, and I think their defense is by far the best unit on the field. And Houston's offense has been playing better, and Pittsburgh's defense isn't that good. So I really don't see Houston having a problem. Houston -3, best bet.
By the way, we didn't really go over betting splits here, so there was a couple. Well, I'll do that at the tail end, but I want to bring it up for this game. This is one of the only few where there really isn't a big sharp side here. Most of it is coming on Pittsburgh at the 3, but it's only about 55% of the tickets and 64% of the money. So nothing too crazy there. Most of the money, similar split, 68% of the bets, 41% of the money on Houston money line. So we've seen this before. We know what happens. And I unfortunately have to make this my dog of the week.
Horrible pick.
I knew you were going to say that. And you're probably right. I haven't bet this yet, but this is on the slate. We've also seen one other thing. Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers, Monday Night Football. At home, where they always win. They do not lose in this spot. Ever. They are... That's not true. Not ever, but They are 22-3 straight up under Mike Tomlin in home Monday Night Football games. All time, Pittsburgh is 32-5 at home straight up. Winning team, and this is another trend I found, which it made me second guess a lot. The winning team coming off Sunday Night Football. So this season, those teams have gone 10-6. And in the last 5 weeks, winning teams are 4-1 straight up off Sunday night. San Fran last week was the losers as a 2-point dog. But overall, teams who win on Sunday Night Football and then they're the underdog the following week, it is only 1-3 ATS, but Pittsburgh is like the odd man out. This year, after Sunday Night Football, Pittsburgh's gone on to go 2-0 straight up in ATS after a Sunday Night Football game. Last year, without Rodgers, 4-0 straight up in ATS. Mike Tomlin is 6-3 ATS the week after Sunday Night Football. 67% he covers in this spot. With the Monday Night Football, winning outright is absolutely absurd. And then I go, well, it's Houston. They do look a lot better. What's the catch? The catch is they don't travel very well. Remember, this is a Texans dome team with a questionable offense, and really they've been relying on the defense all year. This Texans offense, I think, is going to have it's going to be a small bit of class relief for the Pittsburgh side. Houston 1-3 in Pittsburgh with their only win coming in 2002. The Texans are only 4-4 ATS as favorites all year. They actually have not scored over 20 points on the road, except for once in their 8 road games slate this year, where they scored 44 against Baltimore. But I think that was like the third string game when Lamar was out. So I think with that said, under 38 does seem right, but this is the one game I'm going to just ride the trends. I'm going to ignore the Tomlin in the past, but also, like, to his credit, the last few wild card games we've seen, it was Kansas City and Buffalo. And it didn't matter who the quarterback was. They were going to get slaughtered regardless. This year, they have Aaron Rodgers, who I think is the best quarterback they've had since Big Ben.
No, that's fair.
Now, if you are right and Houston's defense can beat up old man Rodgers and just sack him 500 times, you are well within reason to believe they're going to cover and win this no problem. I've never known Aaron Rodgers to really lose and be a one-and-done playoff quarterback. Although it's been a while. I don't think this is just going to be an easy game. I think a lot of bettors, especially the public, I think a lot of them are just sleepwalking into this Texans -3. And I don't really think they're looking at this closely. And I think that aren't the Texans like another team that are coming in with like a big win streak? Or have they lost? 1, 2, 3.
No, I mean
4,
they've
5,
been winning.
6, 7,
Yeah, they got a big win streak.
10, 2, 4, 6, 9. They're on a 9-game win streak. Yeah, ever since they lost to Denver, they've won 9 straight.
Yeah, beating some good teams. Jacksonville, Buffalo, Chargers.
Yeah.
Some good wins. San Francisco they beat.
No, they didn't. I thought they lost that game.
No, they beat San Fran.
Oh, no, you're right. They did.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, they've beaten some good playoff teams. I mean, it's funny. I don't know how we could have the same handicap but be on different sides of the game. But I don't know. To me, I think people are East Coast biased. They're, it's Aaron Rodgers, it's Pittsburgh, and they're just walking into that trap. I mean, the Monday night stat is good, but I don't know. We'll see. I still like Houston. I trust me. I want Houston to lose, because I know the Bills can't beat Houston, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, the way my bracket, I have my bracket through the conference championship. I don't have it any further because I really don't know what, I don't even know what we're going to see, but I don't know what would happen if those four teams did meet up, that I think will. Then, I mean, it really becomes a toss up at that point. But no, I think we're going to be in for some real insane wild card matchups. We're about an hour out from the first kickoff. Mansman, let's give out our final picks, our best bets, and then we'll call it a
Yeah,
day.
right. So my best bet for this week is Houston -3. In terms of my picks for the underlying games, San Fran +6. I'm going with, as much as it pains me to say it, Jacksonville -1.5. I don't think the
So we're
Bills
heads
are.
up essentially from Sunday on.
Yeah, and then let's see. Oh, right, and then Saturday I have the Rams -10, and in the late game I have. Think you talked me into it. I think I'm going to go with the Packers -1. I think the Packers sneakily are the better team if you look at the games that they played previously.
All right. I'm calling it. We'll take the last three games. So Houston, Pittsburgh, or you know what? It'll be. We could do Sunday. Let's do Sunday in case we do end up coordinating and hanging out for those games. So you have Jacksonville, San Fran, New England, and I have the Chargers, Eagles, Buffalo. Double Cinny bet, 2 out of 3, whoever gets it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my Lord. All right. The Cine bet is on the table, I guess.
Let's go. Double Cinny bets. All right. We'll do that for the Sunday slate. And then yeah, we'll have to chat throughout the wild card games today. But my bets again, I'm also on the Rams. I got Packers -1.5, Bills +1. I'm going Philly -6. Fade of the week, I am fading the New England Patriots. I'm taking the Chargers +3.5. Pittsburgh as my dog +130. God help me. These are those were tough to swallow, but I'm gonna do it. That was tough, but all right. And then over under the week, I'm going under 51.5. Buffalo, Jacksonville. Manson's on the over with that.
Yeah, if I had to pick, and then for the under, I think I'd go under the first game, under 46.5, Rams, Panthers.
Love it. All right, buddy. Well, thank you, ladies and DeGents, for checking this out. Hopefully you enjoy some football playoffs. I am Steve Big Bucks Beta. With
Money Management signing off. Congratulations, buddy. And as always, regardless of the case of bets, go win that
go win and
motherfucking
make
money.
that motherfucking money. Have a good
All
one.
right.